You're listening to St. Louis Public Radio Online. The city of St. Louis and the state of Missouri have had a strained relationship that goes back many years. This spring's legislative session didn't help. Among several bills that raised hackles at City Hall, lawmakers in Jefferson City passed legislation allowing St. Louis firefighters to live outside of city limits. If the governor signs it, Mayor Francis Slay has warned there will be a lawsuit. It's the latest example of how politics are widening the wedge between the state and the city. St. Louis Public Radio's Maria Altman reports on the first of an occasional series called Bound by Division.
At Lafayette Fire Company No. 1, a St. Louis restaurant owned by firefighters, the weekday lunch crowd is settling in. Servers wear dark blue short-sleeve shirts and pants favored by most fire departments, but they wield menus, not fire hoses.
You know the menu? You know we're doing breakfast and lunch right now? Were you ready to order, or did you need a little bit of time?
Not surprisingly, most of the clientele here say they support letting firefighters live where they want.
I think it should be the fireman's decision.
Pat Shirk has lived in St. Louis for 50 years. She followed the news this past spring as lawmakers in Jefferson City voted to allow St. Louis firefighters to move out of the city after 7 years of service over the objections of City Hall. And the ensuing firefight hasn't surprised Shirk.
I wish the city of St. Louis and the state of Missouri could get together on everything. They just never seem, they always fuss and fight over everything.
At City Hall, St. Louis Mayor Francis Slay says state lawmakers clearly overstepped their bounds. He says city residents whose taxes pay firefighters' salaries should make the final call on where firefighters can live, not lawmakers in Jefferson City.
I think this is an insult to the people of St. Louis, and I'm going to continue fighting their cause and fighting on their behalf. We will pursue this legally.
The bill's sponsor is Republican State Senator Jim Lemke, who lives in Lemay in St. Louis County. He says city firefighters came to him after trying and failing to work with the St. Louis Board of Aldermen.
Since I represent a portion of St. Louis City, and this was an important issue to them and their families as far as where they educate their children. And, you know, quite frankly, this is still America, and I think that any individual should be able to live, you know, where they choose.
St. Louis police have had that right since 2005, but it wasn't the city's decision. The majority of the police board, which oversees the department, is appointed by Missouri's governor, a remnant of the Civil War. St. Louis has been trying to wrest back control of its police department for nearly 150 years, and this past spring, a bill to do so made it onto the State House floor, only to fail.
Yeah, things in Missouri go back a long way.
David Robertson is a political science professor at the University of Missouri-St. Louis. He says stark political differences between urban and rural areas are now common across the U.S., but he says in Missouri, the struggle over St. Louis's autonomy has roots back to the Civil War, when the governor and legislature had Confederate sympathies and the city leaned toward the Union.
I think it is very difficult within anybody's living memory to imagine a time when legislators outstate didn't think that St. Louis was doing a poor job of governing itself.
Senator Lemke admits that feeling remains in Jefferson City today. He points to the city's more than $40 million budget shortfall as one reason why. Mayor Slay says a big part of the city's financial difficulties are the skyrocketing pension costs for police and firefighters. And he points out the state oversees those pension systems, not the city. For St. Louis Public Radio, I'm Maria Altman.